What's up guys, Rob Optal Carnivore. Now I want to give you 5 reasons, and this is from my experience working with thousands of clients over the years and what I hear just off other people, off other podcasts, everything, this consolidation of feedback. 5 reasons why people say carnivore didn't work for them. Number 1, you didn't give it enough transition time and enough time to become fat adapted. You might have heard this a lot, but it is actually true. It's so true. It doesn't take a couple of days to automatically like boom, okay, you used to be a petrol engine, now you're a diesel engine. Enzymatic processes, transporters, all these things have to upregulate. All these systems in the body, it takes time. If you've been piling carbohydrates and sugar and seed oils into your diet for decades upon decades, your body had no reason to make its own glucose, no reason to make ketones. You've always put this exogenous fuel source in there. So give it more than 2 days. Some people it might be 2 weeks, could be 2 months. There's studies showing that it can take up to 12 months. The studies that actually show that once athletes have become fat adapted, that their performance is superior to carb athletes, or at least on par, they understand that there has to be this transition time. They won't just start a study. So a lot of studies done on comparing carb athletes to low carb athletes. They just all of a sudden get people that were already on the carbs like, right, okay, you're no carbs now. They understand that you need this transition period. And I think some studies allow it like 12 weeks, but just be honest with yourself. The worse your diet has been and for how long it's been, so the duration and the frequency and the dose makes the poison, it's going to take you long enough to adapt. So if you want it enough, go through that adaptation phase. This is where you need a coach to talk you through these keto flu type symptoms, feeling crap, lethargic, cravings, headaches, dehydration, things like that. Get a coach. Number 2, you were still afraid of going high fat. Okay, when we go into a carnivore keto type diet, carbohydrates are basically at zero, we're as low as possible. We need energy, we need to get our fuel from somewhere. Yes, the bigger you are, the lower fat you can go because you've got a lot of energy around you as body fat, but our body is expecting the taste. So there's one thing that you might not be fueling your system enough, and even if you've got a lot of fat around you, it's not a fueling problem, then fat and protein is supposed to come together in nature. So if you're just having like 5% mince and chicken breasts and egg whites, you're going to be absolutely starving. That like protein is not a viable substrate to use for energy. Your body, fat is flavour. That's why when people went low fat and they convinced people that was bad, all these low fat products were all of a sudden not tasting very nice. So they had to add sugar to them because fat is flavour. So go higher on the fat. Do not fear fat. Again, get a coach that can talk you through this. Number 3, you're still having cheat meals. Be honest, is that you? And it was me for a long time. I couldn't go past a weekend without having a cheat meal because I couldn't fathom not having that in my life. And it made the carnivore food more sort of bland. And I couldn't see past it. So if you're still having cheat meals in your life, you're not giving carnivore its respect. And I didn't see the full power of carnivore until I gave it 100%. Dove deep diving, and I had to, trust me, it took a couple of weekends of sort of grinding it a bit white knuckly, thinking like, no, I'm not going to get a takeaway. I normally do. And it's that habitual pattern. As soon as I've gone a couple of weeks, carnivore got better and better and better. My physique got better and better. I felt better. My cravings disappeared. Give it 100%. Like you wouldn't, if someone was trying to stop smoking or stop alcohol or taking heroin, you wouldn't tell them just to have some on a weekend and expect them just to stick to that and wouldn't set them off again. Seafood is that. You can't moderate drugs. Number 4, and I hate to say this, but you're not carnivoring hard enough. Okay, that's not what I say to everyone. That's why I didn't have it as high up on the list. But if you're still having sauces, seasonings, spices, just coating things in garlic, salad and vegetables for some, okay, maybe low sugar fruits. For some people, everyone has different sensitivities. Even for some people, like eggs can trigger them. Look at people like Michaela Peterson. It has to be on a pure lion diet. That's where she coined that term. I call it that hardcore carnivore, that meat, salt and water, from ruminant red meat. So some people have to be that strict, especially if they're coming from a place of autoimmune conditions and their health is suffering and things like that and have really bad food addictions. Then if it's not working for you and you've tried the other bigger rocks in the jar, tighten things up, single ingredients. So like mince is just mince, an egg is just an egg, steak is just steak. If you're starting to add things to this and you respond badly to these plant compounds, which we won't dive into today, give it 100%. Look in the mirror, think, am I giving it 100%? Am I making this food hyper palatable by having, like even 90% sausages that have like spices and seasonings in? Sometimes I'm absolutely full to the brim, couldn't eat any more mince or steak, but I could smash 10 sausages. So even those little percentages, even if only like 10% of the food isn't carnivore, that can set people off. So if you hit a plateau, that is a good one to try. And number 5, you've tried all those, you're scared of what people think. You're too scared of what people are going to say because you're this weirdo with meat in a lunchbox. You have to embrace it and own it and have some. You don't have to explain to anyone, but obviously you can't just not talk to someone if someone's asking you. You have to speak confidently. Even if you have to say like, oh, I'm just doing a 12-week challenge. It sounds a bit wacky, but I've tried every other diet on the planet. This coach, he's looking good. He's got some good client results, he or she, and I'm going to give it a try. And actually, I'm feeling quite amazing, Matt, and everyone will start to see it. This is the thing. You stick to it long enough, people will ask you why. At first, they might mock you and laugh. Then they'll start asking you the secret. So do not be afraid. Don't be afraid of bringing a lunchbox anywhere you want. Do not be afraid of asking for exactly what you want in a restaurant. Like, it doesn't matter what people around you think. Anyone that says anything negative, that's their people. They're not friends. They're not loved ones that aren't going to support you. And it's funny that people that are like really, really overweight, they seem to get a lot more support than somebody who's just looks like people would say like, oh, you don't need to diet. You can eat what you want. So whichever camp you are in, it doesn't matter. Have your why. Be strong enough. Don't join the sheep. Trust me, anyone that's questioning you, anything negative towards you, they're never in better shape than you. They're never doing better than you. And 9 times out of 10, it's jealousy. But again, I've had it all my life. And eventually those people come to me for coaching. So hope this helps, guys. Have your strong enough why. Give it 100%. Stop cheating. Give it enough time. Fat is your energy. We're on a low carb diet. So we want the fat. Protein and fat is supposed to come together in nature, like an egg, like animal products together with the animal fat around it, like fatty fish. You don't just get protein on its own. So do not fear the fat. If you need help, work with a coach. I know a few good ones. Cheers.